Hey there, fellow hunters and butchers, Rhadamant here. Thank you for tuning in to RimWorld, The Darkest Ages. Episode 3, Ensuring Our Troops Stay Fed. Now I do see that we're essentially out of game meat. I do have hunting queued up. I think it's going to be easiest to kill these alpaca, so let me reset the hunting. This alpaca is like just off the edge of the bridge, so it's easiest to get to. Food preservation techniques. Awesome. Next up, you guys wanted smithing. And I'm going to want to make the food preservation buildings ASAP, but I don't want to put anything on them. So the idea was to line this with meat racks so that we could start amassing a lot of meat, and then there's room for a lot more meat racks if our colony grows and our meat demand grows. But we'll get those meat racks up. It looks like I've worked a lot of restaurants. I mean, I have worked a few. And then, given the outdoor temperature, well, we'll see. So the salted meat, it's tricky because if it falls out of temperature, it like immediately just gets ruined. So I have to be very careful with the temperature that we allow it to be once this is built. But the way this works is you add a process, cures regular meat into salted meat, and then it takes, you know, half a season. And it has to be within 6 to 20 Celsius. Currently outside, it's 18 Celsius, so probably passive coolers in this room. But I'm going to suspend that right now, because I don't want to, I mean, obviously, I'm not going to leave it to chance. Once we have a temperature-controlled or pseudo-temperature-controlled room here, I'll start mass hunting, because then we can just, like, butcher and throw everything into the meat racks. And then pivot from, I am going to start making all of my meals out of vegetarian, because we are about to have a big old bounty of rice, and then all of the meat will go to the racks. Except for what we use for fine meals. Inspired creativity declined. Oh boy. Let's try for a double bed. Masterwork. It's yours, bud. You made yourself a new bed. Artwork on this. The furniture is engraved with an image of priests playing chess. The scene takes place on the outskirts of a village. Oh, it's like priests playing chess about the outcome of our own village. Creepy. I like it. Awesome. That's going to help out with their productivity a lot, because now they have an amazing bed. Awesome. Now, because of this room being so temperature sensitive, I might double wall it even from the get-go, because of how fussy it is, spoiling the entire harvest of meat if it gets wrong. Also meaning, let's get rid of this rack and double wall the insides as well. I don't think I need to double wall it against the butchery, because I don't plan on the butchery having vents to the outside. But I do plan on my kitchen having vents. So the kitchen will be potentially a cold room, where this is a warm room. And then we can double wall, like, basically over the steam geyser. Now, the only issue that I see here is it might be best for us to change the entryway into the whole configuration from going into this room, going into the butchery first. So I'm going to enter this whole thing through the butchery instead, so that this door doesn't swing open and change the temperature shock this room. Basically, this room shouldn't be a thoroughfare, because if this room becomes a thoroughfare, it's going to be it's going to go out of temp fast. So a little bit of redesign before things go ruined. Right. And now that the plan is kind of laid out, all we really need to do is to cut stone for it, and that's no problem at all. Yeah, if you're wondering if anyone got hurt in that raid, no one took a permanent injury. Klein has rhino leather armor and troll pelt leather helmet. He's got a heater shield and an obsidian Dane axe. He's ready to tussle. It's not the best possible armor that you could have, but it's pretty dang strong. So, he is no pushover. All right. I think the benefit of getting meat curing ASAP is high enough that I'm going to prioritize this room first, so that we can start curing our meats, and then we can, before winter sets in, we can mass hunt the things out here, and then have meat for the winter, which is going to be pretty important, I think. Yeah, he's a tough, nimble brawler, exactly. There was also one other... so I have a mod that does this, but if anyone takes a permanent injury, because obviously we're in medieval and we don't use anomaly things, rituals and the like. In Anomaly, there's ways to, like, heal, miracle healing and the like. But because there's none of that, the benefit of a good winter solstice or summer solstice is the possibility of miracle healing. So a fun or unforgettable result of a winter or summer solstice can give us a chance for whoever is whoever is participating in that solstice ritual to be miracle healed. A small chance, like 10 to 30%, 30% at most, but it gives us a way to have essentially heal mech serum without heal mech serum. So if someone does take some sort of grievous injury, it might not be permanent. It's not easy to get rid of. It might take a few years if our ritual chances are low, but it's not permanent for sure. And yeah, only the worst basically the worst injury of all the participants gets healed if it is a positive result and a high roll. So it's not an easy thing to have happen. All right, looks like we've got maybe a little over a third of the wall's chunks hauled, and the entire bridge to the east is done. What bridge to do next? Northwest, northeast, southwest, or east? I'll have you vote. What next bridge to build? Northwest, northeast, southeast. I'll call it southeast and southwest. This is the southeast bridge. I mean, it is the southeast corner of the island. And this is what the map looks like. So this is the section to the northeast, northwest, southwest, southeast. But I think map mobility is going to be pretty important. This is I think this is a 300 by 300 map size, so it's a relatively large map, and being able to get around the map is going to be important, especially when there's like raids and summoning raids. So for those that don't know, in Anomaly, when you have cultists come, what they do is they will summon, you know, flesh beasts and things to attack you, and you got to get out to them and clear the threats before they, you know, murder you, essentially. So, being able to high map mobility is kind of important. Alright, looks to me like this room is just about all set to go. I think at first pass, I'm just going to do wood floors, eventually upgrading this to stone floors. But I think that the likelihood of a fire somehow getting inside is pretty low. So I'm not too worried about that. Too bad I can't just, like, straw man over that. That is, like, a terrible spot for it. I almost want to, like, dev mode delete it, but I won't. Alright, now this is going to be a pretty pointless door, so we'll nix it. And once this room gets down below 20 Celsius, we can then throw in some meat into the racks. You vote dev mode? Yeah, I could put up a poll once we're done with this one. Okay, it's the right temperature in here, so let's go ahead and cure meat. Do it forever. Copy. And paste. Now all of these should have meat bills. Yep, they do. And this is our meat curing room. As a result, we can start hunting whatever the hell we want, because there's going to be ways to preserve the meat from spoiling. So, I wasn't mass hunting up until now for that reason. Let's go ahead and allow this wall to be built, because it just feels weird to have a hole there or whatever. I'll go all the way up there too. Alright, you guys want northwest? Do I delete the geyser? I'll leave it up to you. I mean, if it was up to me, I wouldn't. It's like, map constraints is map constraints. That's kind of how I feel, but if you disagree, you're welcome to, you know, have me delete it. Obviously, I benefit from it. One of the nice things about the new planning tools allows you to make, like, diagonals that are nice. Whereas before, you had, you know, it took a little bit more effort. There we go. That's the Northwest Bridge plan. If we don't end up deleting the geyser, there's, like, other ways that I could tool this so that it's not so messy. Or alternatively, have that not even be an entryway. Have people, the hunters come in through the long way. I mean, that's not terrible. It's inconvenient, but certainly not terrible. I'm also going to put a shelf here for wood. Because the passive coolers, in the summer, the passive coolers need to be fueled all the time. And then in the winter, the torches or campfire, depending on how cold it gets, will need to be fueled all the time. So, would definitely have high need for that. High need for wood there. What are my hunters doing? I don't really see a lot of dead animals. I think Avaka's trying. Oh no, she did get one. Now, between the project for flooring up all this area, and then also building the bridges, we're going to need a lot more wood. And that's why I didn't over encumber Lillian with more farming, because I knew that she was going to be, like, pretty busy. So all of this is just going to be wooden bridges, or wooden floors, just because they're cheap and easy. And I'll try to get Lillian to cut down some more trees when she's freed. Now, it says it's cured with salt, but there's, like, there's not actual salt. It's just, you know, cured with magic. Think of it that way. Alright, the poll's nearly tied, whether you want me to nuke the geyser or not, so, I'll give you one more minute, and then it's final. So let's fill one of these racks, just to show you. And we should be able to keep the food from spoiling. So there it is. And in 12.5 days, we'll have cured meat, which will not spoil. It just needs to stay within the temperature, and if it falls outside of the temperature range, it's screwed. In fact, to that end, I'm going to put in another cooler because the temperature in that room is creeping up a bit high, 17°C, and I don't want it to get close to 20°C because it will ruin everything in there. And looking at our wood supply, it's pretty obvious we're going to need to cut down some more trees if we want to keep those passive coolers going. Yeah, the geysers are an annoying place, so the question is, do I just, like, remove it because it's blocking my butchery, or do we leave it there? Alright, now that we actually have a kitchen, let's go ahead and start using it. I'm going to put the kitchen here. We'll hook it up with a light source. And then start to lay out some shelving. So the shelf closest to the door... The two shelves closest to the door will be meals. We'll link them together. Critical that meals go here. And then we'll have... two shelves here, one for meat, one for veg. This is going to be for meat. That is not insect or human. I don't know. Oh, or twisted. And then veg. That is not fungus. I don't think people like to global stool either, but there we go. And then the rest of this room could just be like general storage for food. And also for perishables. Obviously don't have the I don't have the slate for it all yet, but I'll get it. And this thing, this room holds a whole lot. It does not, however, have a room for a brewery. That would be in a different separate room. I want to keep the rooms separated for, like, role-playing reasons. So this is going to be my pantry. And everything so far has been critical. So the pantry is going to be important, and it will be for all foods that are not hay, kibble, water, chocolate, fertilized eggs, insect jelly, if insect jelly is even a thing. Also including wort and grape. Well, I'm not going to do wort and grape must because that's going to be a brewery. We'll also include herbal meds and then plant matter that is not dyes. The other flowers are probably going to go into an alchemy lab at some point. Probably not in here, but I'll change that when we get there. Well, that's a lot of shelves. The good news is we do have some slate blocks. You know what? We should just, for now, because this is a temporary room, but for now, this is a good place for slate blocks. I don't actually want them double hauling it. So once we cut it, we'll just leave it on the ground where they are. Preferred. What is killing these guys? Ah, the Tyralls. So Tyralls are like owl bears, and they're fast and dangerous. And they're also predators. It would not be a bad idea at some point to have a group hunt to try to clear out the map of wargs and Tyralls and anything else that could, like, maul us to death. Because it's not like humans are particularly fast compared to those animals. So they do pose a threat to us if left unchecked. Poor Lilin is like, alright, you know what I'm going to do? Lilin, I'm going to give you reprieve from cooking. Leave the rest of the cooking up to Avalka. And that means you can get back to farming because you are just like overly busy. All right, we are killing the geyser. Got it. The yays have it. Geyser is gone. That will become Cobblestone Road. Ravek. Let's work drive Lillian again. She's stuck cutting down a whole lot of trees for us, so we might as well have her cut down trees faster. And we'll queue up all the mature enough trees. Obviously, a lot of them are like partial grown, but the mature enough trees around the base. So the kitchen is becoming kitchen-like. I'm a little hopeful that we can avoid food poisoning as a result, once it's like clean and I actually might not build this there. I'll probably leave space. I'm gonna leave some space for work speed bonuses around the kitchen itself. So a few fewer shelves, not a big deal. Because we have, we've completed the bridge to the northwest, that's going to make hunting a lot easier. I'm not going to consider making another bridge for a bit, just because Lillian's, like, cut down enough trees that her hands are probably going numb. I will queue up some trees to the east, or across this bridge, which is easy to get to. And, that should allow us to finish up some of the flooring here. And, as I mentioned, the first pass of the flooring is going to be for wood, just because it's cheap, and because we have stone walls, I don't think, fires pose that much of a threat to us. We'll have to keep an eye on it. One of the nice things about the salting racks, and there's other mods that do this, but it does, like, make all meat generic, which is nice. Because in RimWorld, like, there's really no purpose of having, like, a bajillion types of meat. Like, unless it's insect or human, meat is meat, or twisted, I guess. Meat is meat. And that's something that always bothered me, because obviously leather has its own properties, but, like, meat doesn't. You don't have tasty meat, and, you just have a few types of meat necessary. There are, of course, mods that do this, but if you throw in the salting rack, it all eventually just becomes, like, cured. And loses any of its, like, you know, related, origins. Manhunter are raccoons. Well, I can kind of cheese it. I guess there's 4. Because, you know, there is the wildlife tab. So I'm immediately going to muster, because Scoria is a real threat, especially with medieval level medicine. I can't, like, you know, that's a danger. Is like fighting things like plague or malaria with medieval medicine is actually kind of challenging, because herbal medicine only gets so good. There are alchemical drafts that can help us in the alchemy tree, like the what is it? The immunization draft, which is psychoid and Rafflesia petals, which help with immunity gain, and at some point we'll unlock alchemy to help with that, so that we're not, like, if plague hits us, we're not all just gonna die. Oh, and Klein, come out here too. This is gonna be a full community drafting. Get them! Get the rotten critters. One left. Good job. 2 of these raccoons are edible, even. And then the other raccoons, I'm just gonna, like, dump in the water. Even the wildlife prefers bridges? Yeah, they will. That was a big deal in RimWorld 1.6, is that pathfinding became multi-threaded and a lot better. So everyone pathfinds now, whereas before they like you only looked like 10 tiles ahead. All right, there we go. Let's move the butchery. And we're still working on the kitchen, but settling into the kitchen. Did a lot of things get multi-threaded? Yeah, a lot of things got multi-threaded, but one of the most impactful ones, unless you run massive colonies, is pathfinding. Because pathfinding was notoriously awful in RimWorld for computing reasons, right? Like, it's easy to forget, but like, RimWorld's kind of an old game now. And when it came out, or when it was first being developed, like, you didn't have machines and the capability of both, like, Unity and people's computers were different. And now that the times have changed, adding multi-threading in RimWorld allows it to support, you know, better pathfinding and other stuff like that. All right, smithing got researched. Nice. So what to research next will be up to you. We could do beer, double strand, plumbing, heating, composting. I could also get long blades. There's not a lot of brawlers in the community, and we'll also include psycho brewing, too. Psycho brewing does lead to alchemy. Not that that's, like, necessary to immediately go for, but have you guys choose. The kitchen needs a little bit more slate, so it's going to take a minute for us to have that really ready. And then we'll take on a new task. Oh, there is a Tarl. We're sitting right in our farm. We're going to have to do something about that, because, like, don't want it there. So once Avalka finishes that meal, let's get that guy gone. So to read the description here, also known as the Great Land Owl, is a huge omnivorous bird that dwells in the many forests of the world. They primarily eat fish, but often can be seen near rivers and lakes in search of their favorite prey. In its absence, it will not hesitate to use its immense bear-like strength to hunt live prey instead. It moves very fast. It's like literally like an owl bear. So don't underestimate this thing. It's dangerous. Which is why we group hunted it, because getting our legs ripped off from an owlbear would suck if it decided to. And any animal that has this symbol is potentially dangerous to a colonist. So if they come on my island, they die. Which is why I went for it. Thank you for hunting it. All right, looks like plumbing is leading in the options, so let's get plumbing going. Now, the question is, okay, I could build a well here. Got it. Was wondering if anywhere within our walls I could build a well that had access to the pond water, because that's going to be like really high volume. And the answer is yes, but barely. Want to add great bows? Great bows. So unless you're really capable with a bow, there's almost no point in firing a great bow, because they fire rather slowly, even if they have amazing range. And you're just going to miss, and then the advantage of the range is lost when the enemies get closer. So great bows are really nice for capable shooters, but they're really bad for incapable shooters, and we have just a whole lot of incapable shooters. So Lilith and Matic both can't hit the broadside of a barn, because they're low skill. So there's not a lot of point in having them don great bows as a result. Let's get a fueled smithy as well, so that we can get Lilin and Matic maybe some like job tools, and then they can always switch to bows in a pinch. Yeah, Volko, why aren't you butchering? And when you butcher, just like drop on the ground. Hmm. I will say it's just a little bit more cutting, stone cutting, and the kitchen will be done. And 4 tools. Probably want a scythe. Steel scythe for Lillian, and then for Matic, maybe a... Well, think in between the building hammer, which increases building speed, and the pick. I'd rather have the pick because the pick increases yield, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, so definitely a pick instead. So we'll make a scythe and a pick for our 2 civilians. Oh, it is raining, so it might also be a good time for us to hunt the remaining boomalopes, who are like chilling on the island. Looks like we sort of fell behind in the wood production as well, because we want wood for our fueled stove, and we'll probably want wood for the passive coolers in here. So hopefully, Lillian has a chance to cut down more trees to the east. Oh no, there's a bunch of wood out there. Hopefully, we haul it where it needs to be. Now, one strange bonus for the weapons that Scorpio and Ivalka started with is these warbows do not require a line of sight on their target. They can shoot over walls. They have like a high arc. They're just inaccurate when you use them like that. So eventually, it'd be a good idea for all of our civilians to have warbows, so that in the case of a raid, they can muster behind the walls in good cover and shoot over the walls at enemies. But that's, you know, sometime down the line. One more shelf left, guys. Seems to me like haulers is what we need more than anything else. Wild man wandered in. We can tame him. Oh, right. I was like, oh, let's go look at him. Right. I can see he's some sort of healer. Oh, there's an info tab. I can cheat. Pyromaniac. Yeah, I think not. I think not. We have a lot of wood floors. I was planning to keep the fires out, but a pyromaniac would make sure that that didn't happen the way we envisioned. So, yeah, he would love all my flooring. Exactly. Got worms for Klein. Okay. I think it would be worth illuminating the room so that we can medical tend at higher quality so that he can heal faster. So Rayvac, you're the best doc. Go tend to his gut worms. We are growing heal root, and then I can obviously wild harvest heal root, but a 70-10 is as high as it goes. So that was a pretty good effect there. Okay, the rice here is ambrosia sprout. It's not the first ambrosia sprout. The rice that we have here is like rotting in the fields. So I'm going to high priority haul for everyone just to get the rice into the pantry because I'm a little worried that they'll just neglect it until it gets rotted. There we go. No, that's not what I meant for you to be doing. They'll get around to it eventually. I think we're gonna want a door here to prevent this door from being double used, and maybe remove the door between these two rooms. But if I remove the door between these two rooms, I'll want to wall up one side first, so that we don't like temperature shock it. So I'm gonna try to create a better path here before I take on a new task. So what to build next will be up to you. I could do a proper Great Hall. Work primarily on the perimeter walls. Some other choices. Storehouse, because this is a temporary storehouse. Workshop. I'll add those two. Bridges. There you go. So the kitchen's almost done. What's next? I don't need this door because I have this door. Yeah, you're right. I'll just wall this up. Because they can come in this way. And I can leave these doors open. Like, they don't need to be closed. Because this room isn't cold yet. Still making that scythe, huh? I'm gonna force him. That would help her out a lot. Klein also does some mining. But if Maddock has a pick, I might take Klein off of mining. Because Maddock will get a better yield if... So there's no point in keeping Klein on it, unless Klein switches to a pick. But I'd be worried about Klein having his weapon be a pick, because if we get attacked unexpectedly, he'll have the wrong weapon out. Oh, come on! Avalka, you're supposed to butcher before they rot, not after. How did we leave a body in there for that long? Like, no effort made. Alright, there's your pick. And this increases mining yield and mining speed. So that means, Klein, you're off the hook. Or off the pick. And we'll keep the bows in there in case we need them. There we go. Alright. Probably wouldn't hurt to have some light in these rooms. It's kind of expensive to run torchlight, but, you know, it's the cost of medieval. And we'll fix this wall. And as soon as this wall is done, I think our setup is, like, complete. Yeah. I like it. We could add more capacity for more meat curing. If we end up with a lot of spoiled meat, I'll consider it. But for now, I'm good. Thank you for tuning in to RimWorld: The Darkest Ages, which originally streamed live on Twitch. If you have any feedback or questions for me, let me know in the comments below. If you'd like to catch a live stream of mine, Rhadamant.com has my stream schedule and countdown timers to upcoming streams. If you'd like to join my online gaming community on Discord, Rhadamant.com has a link to it, as does the description of this video. Thank you so very much for watching. Special thank you to my Twitch subscribers, Patreon patrons, and viewers like you that support the channel and made it all the way to the credits. Thank you so very much. I hope to catch you next episode or an upcoming stream. Farewell, my fellow knights.